And now, Freelance Heroism presents Return to Ravenloft.
Hey everybody, welcome to Freelance Heroism. My name is Dees.
And I'm Rachel.
And before we get started, we just want to say thank you to everyone out there who donates to Patreon, in particular those who donate at the producer tier.
Mm-hmm.
Rachel, would you like to let us know who they are?
I would love to. We want to say thank you to Crispy, Nate, Breakmeister, and Rebecca. Thank you so much, everyone.
You help us make a better show for everyone, and we couldn't do it without you. So thank you.
Thank you.
Rachel.
Dees.
You are looking at buying a house.
I am.
Right?
I've
Why do you sound so nervous?
Because it's nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
I've wanted to buy a house for a while. But you know, I don't know if people know this, but it's hard to buy a house. It's hard to do the saving up process of buying a house.
Yeah, it would have been nice to have that 25 grand from Kamala, right? For first-time buyers of a house.
Yeah.
That would have been pretty fucking sweet.
It could have been.
But instead, orange fascist. So, hey, I guess even Steven.
We're all touching the stove instead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have looked at a bunch of houses. I've been looking at them with you.
Yeah.
And tell me what you think.
So there is like one house that we saw a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
That we both really liked. And then it immediately went under contract.
Yeah.
And it stayed under contract for a few weeks, and we were
3 weeks-ish.
Yeah, we kept kind of looking at it, and it wouldn't go away, but it had that in contingency or whatever it's called. But it recently is no longer under contract.
Those sons of bitches.
So I'm trying to arrange a time to go see it in person.
Yeah.
But the photos look great. I think the neighborhood looks fine.
As a massive church, like just across the street, there's this massive Catholic church with like a massive steeple. It is so gothic looking.
It is very gothic looking.
It's very cool. It's like living across the street from Strahd.
So, yeah, I'm hoping that, the stars will align and I can get that.
Well, you've done a lot of work on it.
Right? I have done a lot. Literally last week, I spent all day in a homeowner's class.
Yeah.
Learning a lot about the home buying process. And I just want to say, if anyone is thinking about buying a home and they have like a community program that does something like that, you should absolutely take it, because the amount of stuff that I learned and the new resources that I was told about are incredible.
Yeah. I mean, so like a lot of those things, most people just kind of ignore and just kind of try to go through their thing.
Yeah.
But it was like $5,000 for free, essentially.
Yes. Yeah.
There
is an incentive to where if you take the course, and there's a very small fee to take the course, but if you take the course, then you basically get a certificate that you can use if you're working with certain banks that they work with. They will give you an extra $5,000 that you can apply either towards your closing costs or the down payment.
It's pretty baller.
And for, spending $45 and sitting in a classroom for like 7 hours.
Yeah.
That is 100% worth it. Even if without the $5K, like the amount of things that I learned from that class were worth the $45.
Yeah, it's like all those loan programs and insurance costs and things like that. Just good to know, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So it's exciting, right?
Yeah.
And nerve-wracking a little bit.
Absolutely.
But when you start to get to the point where it's like the rent of a house and the mortgage on a house is a little too close for comfort, it starts to become like all the money that you put into an apartment is essentially being flushed out.
Right. Yeah, I'm just throwing this into a pit and I'll never see it again.
And then it takes a week for the person to come by and fix the toilet from flushing all that money. So, I mean,
yeah,
It's kind of cool. I'm excited for you.
Thank
I know
you.
you've been talking about it for a while, and it didn't
Mhm.
seem like it was doable, but now it
Yeah.
seems doable.
Yeah.
Hey,
Nothing is set in stone at this point, but like
or wet plaster.
I've made I've made a lot of progress in the last few weeks, and I did a lot of work like this weekend,
Yeah,
and a lot of progress happened literally this morning too.
yeah,
So
yeah.
um yeah, it's been like
Debbie,
a lot.
shout out to Debs. Shout out to Deb. You bad. You a bad bitch. You a real one, Deb. You a real one.
So um yeah, it's I mean I I know that like with today, it's very difficult for a lot of people to like
Absolutely.
buy a house. So, um,
I
like
don't
this,
imagine it getting easier in the next few months either.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sure. So, I do kind of feel like if I don't do this now, I probably won't be able to for at least a few more years.
Well, explain. Okay, so like you were looking at another apartment, right?
Yeah.
Before the
So,
house thing.
so basically, I got some news that I will have to be leaving this apartment, although I don't have a timeline for it
Yeah,
yet.
but it's in the wind.
But it's in the wind. So I started looking for new apartments, which are all more expensive than like
Yeah.
I got a really good deal on this apartment.
Right.
So that's been part of why I'm able to possibly buy a house is because I've saved a lot of money living in this place.
Right.
Um,
So
so
the thing I wanted to target really here
yeah.
by asking this
Mhm.
was one of the new apartments you saw.
Yeah.
The mortgage that you would be paying on this house and
Yeah.
the rent are very similar.
Yeah, they're very close to being the same number.
Right. And also
Mhm.
that when you moved into the other apartment, can we just do the rundown of like okay, so it's the rent first
So
and last.
so each of these items is a full month of rent. First, last, deposit, my first cat, and my second cat.
So 5 times your monthly rent to move into an
To move
apartment
in. Yeah.
that has a rent that is the same as a mortgage.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. So
It almost feels like they're gouging the poor.
it does, doesn't it?
I
It's
can't afford to
kinda-
buy a house, so let's just take everything you got.
Right.
What
Yeah.
you got? Open your pockets.
They turn you upside down and shake you.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
I mean, what
So
is it? It was like it's like $6,000 to move
Yeah.
into a fucking apartment. Are you fucking
Yeah.
kidding?
yeah, it's
And it's in no offense, it's not New York City. You know?
right.
It's not New York City.
No.
It's Maine.
It's Maine. Yeah. So I saw that, and while that is doable for me,
Yeah.
I would much rather just pay that amount towards a house like I've wanted to get for quite a while.
Yeah, and then you own something.
and
Like
then
your money goes somewhere where even if you don't finish buying the house and you end up
Mhm.
selling it off early or whatever, like you still get some of that money back as
Mhm.
opposed to an apartment, which we were talking about earlier. I don't think I've ever gotten a deposit back. Or
Yeah.
I don't know a person who's got a deposit
I
back.
think my last place I got, when I was kicked out, when I was given 30 days to
Right.
move out and find a new place, I got maybe a third of my deposit back.
That's mind-blowing to me that
Yeah.
you got anything back. The fact that she would shine up a nickel and throw it at you
Right?
is
And
is
also,
insane.
I literally got that back on literally the last day she was legally required to return my deposit.
That's
It was
crazy.
the last day that she legally had to give it back to me.
The police had to escort her to your house.
So, yeah.
So this is nice. I mean,
Yeah.
look, at first it seemed a little daunting.
Mhm.
And if you're up in Maine and you have a house that has flaky paint on the outside, you're thinking 850 seems like a good market price for it. 850,000 seems fair for my
Right.
flaky rectangle.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will say, I noticed the thing about Maine, and we were kind of laughing about it. That the
Yeah.
outside of houses looks so shitty, and then the inside is
Mhm.
insane. It's crazy.
I think that reflects the attitude of a lot of Mainers because I think the idea is, well, I'm not going to be looking at the outside of my house. Why would I bother to make that look
I just want
nice?
to, for the people listening, you aren't gonna be able to see these photos, but I want you to imagine like a house where like all of the paint on the outside's flaking off and
Yes.
like the roof is gray and dingy and like the yard is mud,
Hmm.
right? I want you
Yeah.
to just think about that.
Yeah.
And then you walk inside and you're in like a palace.
And
Like
it's
it's got
hardwood floors.
hardwood floors everywhere.
There's a
Everything's
there's a cool looking like wood burning stove that's set in a corner on top of like a little platform of stone.
it's like exposed brick and
Yeah.
fucking modern appliances and
Hmm.
fucking things built into the walls.
Yeah.
It looks incredible. And then you walk outside and you're like, I'm on fucking Tatooine.
You know what it might be?
It's like a dirt hut from the outside.
It might be because Mainers hate outsiders. And so maybe this is a way for, if an outsider comes up to Maine,
Nah,
they only
dog.
see the outside of houses and they're like,
Nah.
I don't want to live here.
I don't think there's anything quite so cogent or well put together behind it. I think people. By the way, we looked up how much it costs to get a house re-sided.
Oh my God.
Okay, so here in Georgia, it's one price,
Hmm.
and there in Maine, it's like 8 to 10 times the price. It
Yeah.
is shocking. I was shocked at how much it costs to vinyl siding. Like
Yeah.
the cheapest siding there
Hmm.
is like $35,000 to $40,000, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
That's why
Like,
everyone's got flaky paint.
no shit. No shit. It would be cheaper to go buy some like fucking molder's clay or whatever, like some and just stick it, like make an adobe hut out of your shit.
Yeah.
Ugh. I don't know.
Hmm.
I also think it's weird. I was like, so is this full electric? And you're like, no. And I'm like, what? And you're like, it's a pellet stove
Right.
oil combination. I'm like, what year is this?
I went to go look at a house and the furnace in the basement looked like it was there before they built a house on top of it. Like it looked like
Yeah.
they unearthed it.
That shit was that type of orange that comes from like old tanks, old metal,
Yeah.
like a scrapyard for planes. It was gross.
Yeah.
Oh no, tell them about the tons of pellets. This is my favorite bit, guys.
Oh, so we were talking about the pellet stove. And so I had to look up, on average, how many pellets, do you burn a year so you can figure out the price.
Before you say, I want you to guess if you were to have to. No, I remembered. You don't have to look it up. I remember.
Oh, okay. All right.
Because it's etched in my memory forever. How much do you think, guys? How much do you think
Mhm.
you per year worth of pellets weight wise that you'd need?
You're
I'm gonna give
burning
you-
these. You're
I'm gonna
burning
give you a
these
minute.
for warmth.
Right. This is your only heating system in the house. How much weight in a year, just 1 year,
Mhm.
would you need of pellets? I'm gonna give you a minute. We'll play some Jeopardy music.
Okay. I'm not gonna
I
add
know
that.
it's fine. I'll just add it with my mouth.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So whatever number you have,
Mhm.
it's 3 tons. 3 tons on average.
Yeah.
If you like to be a little toasty, it might be 4 or 5 tons.
Tons. Yes.
How the fuck do they deliver it by dump truck? Like, how the hell do you deliver it? You have to go pick up a ton.
I don't know. I don't know how they do it. I haven't
On
lived in a
average.
place with a pellet stove.
3 tons.
Mhm.
What? How much does your car weigh, you think? Let's just look. I'm curious.
Okay.
It's a small car, guys, but still.
Yeah, I drive a Mini Cooper. Okay. It looks like it weighs around 3,600 pounds.
Okay. So how would you move a ton of pellets? Weighs more than your car.
Yeah. I'm either buying small amounts, over I don't know, the course of the summer and then building a wall with them, or I'm getting them delivered by somebody with a truck.
They come to your house with those big foam guns and just shoots pellets. Crazy.
Yeah.
Then they have these tanks, these oil tanks in the basement of every fucking house ever.
Yes. Yeah.
And there are these drums that they put oil in. And apparently that's totally normal. Nobody just heats via electric because Maine is living in the 1400s.
During the winter, the power goes out, that you can't heat your house with electric.
Yeah, but they all have fireplaces, Rachel.
Not all. I don't have a fireplace.
All the houses that we looked at had fireplaces, most of them.
Yeah.
So, all the ones with pellets did, for sure.
So one of my coworkers, she, like, within the last year or two, bought a house. And so you were talking about the big oil drums.
Yeah.
So apparently, what she didn't realize when they bought it was that their oil drum was missing one of its 4 legs.
Oh.
Which you can't have. So she had to replace the entire drum.
How much was the drum?
I think she said it was like $2,000.
Fuck that, man. Fucking an oil drum. That's crazy. I don't know. There's for sure in Maine. There's some things that you don't think about when you get a house in most parts of the country.
Yeah.
It's very old over there.
It is.
There are multiple times we're like, ooh, this house is under 100 years old.
Oh, I'm sorry. Right now, the average cost of a tank replacement is $3,500.
Fuck off.
So it looks like part of it is also, I guess, where you're putting it.
Yeah. They have to weld it together once they drag it down the basement.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah. So
what about the one place that we found that looked really nice? That, by the way, outside looked like shit, interior looked pristine. And then they were like, actually, there's no sewage, public or private. It's actually a cesspool.
Yes, it was a literal cesspool, which I didn't.
It's like a lake where they dump your turds out at. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Maine. What the fuck? Yeah. Use some of that Build Back Better money. Just start putting some poop tubes under your city. It's killing me. Anyway, yeah. But the one you're looking at is much better than all that. So
yes, I really like this one. I was pretty sad when it went under contract.
Yeah.
So it literally, I think, it came back out from under contract like last night.
Yesterday. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And I messaged you about it. I was like, it's back.
It's back. The cathedral's back. Well, so, congratulations on it being back on the market, and hopefully your realtor and everyone get on that real quick.
I hope so.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
If you need a mean negotiator, I'm your man.
All right.
I'll get in there and be like, listen, bitch, we're going down price. I'm going to give you $45.50 for it. And you're going to leave those Matchbox cars. Those are mine now.
Oh.
Okay. Well, I hope it works out for you.
Me too.
It sounds nice, and the house looked really good.
Yeah. I'm excited. I mean, there's no guarantee right now that I'm going to get it. Yeah. I haven't had an inspection done yet. I haven't physically walked through the place yet. I'm hoping to do that in the next few days. Physically walk through and look around.
I like how people are like, that neighborhood's not the best neighborhood. And I'm like, it's next to a kayak launch, a farmer's market, and it's like 2 blocks from a police station. You're fine.
Yeah. Mainers are strange about that, even though Maine is, I think maybe because of Maine is the 3rd safest state in the country. Yeah. So I think when they are, in vague distance of like something grubby,
I came up
they're
to
like,
visit.
Oh my God, it's the dangerous part of town.
I came up to visit you. We went for a drive, and you were like, we're going to drive through the bad part of town.
Yeah.
And I was like, the bad part of town? Ooh, right? I thought they were going to be like witches or something. I didn't know what Maine means by bad side of town. So we start driving, and I'm like, that's a farmer's market.
Yeah.
It's a farmer's market. You don't get to have a bad side of town with a farmer's market. I'm like, there were 3 shootings this week where I live. Like, you're not in the bad side of town. You don't know.
No, I I
Frame of
think
reference is
it's
all whack up there.
yeah, yeah, I think it's fine. Um, so yeah, hopefully by next week, I'll have some progress on it.
Hey, fingers
Uh,
crossed.
yeah.
Fingers
Let's
crossed.
see.
Well, you want to go to the episode?
We should go to the episode, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this is Return to Ravenloft, Season 3, Episode 26, Murder Roads, Take Me Home.
Yeah, like right past the farmer's market.
The bad side of town, next to the dog park.
Oh my God.
There's plants growing, you notice they shouldn't be growing.
That shouldn't be growing?
Not on stone and stuff.
Oh.
It seems that somebody has brought in plants trying to beautify the inside a little bit here or there.
Maybe Nick. Okay.
What a fungal dork.
Definitely wasn't Serena.
Yeah, they just put plaques everywhere.
All right.
Ugh. I'm having a blast, guys. I'm loving you guys in the Mirrorverse. But I always love the Mirrorverse.
Yeah, me too. I like that nobody knows who Nate is.
I from Rain's perspective, I think he's okay with that. To be perfectly
Right?
honest.
He's like, yeah, you know
Yeah.
what, dude? I
He's
don't
like,
have a price on my head.
yeah, I've
Right.
come through, and I'm basically sitting here with Bonnie and Clyde, and I'm just some
Hey,
guy.
whoa. Bonnie and Clyde die. Okay.
That's true.
I came close.
Yeah.
All right. So, anything else I can learn from this, David?
If you look outside the door, you see on top of a 10-foot wide, 10-foot high cube of granite is the mossy covered statue of a stone dragon, the wings tucked close to his body, looking east towards the mansion.
Didn't I want to say that Adrie is familiar with this place because I thought there was like a point where she got like teleported in this area by herself and she was fighting some kind of undead that had her in like an anti-magic circle. And so she had to pop a healing potion, but it was Mirror Ludo that was in the potion. And I thought that was at this place. Is that correct?
Oh,
Because she had been sent like somewhere like by herself. She'd somehow been
yeah.
teleported.
I
And
remember this now. Yes.
I thought it was here.
Let me check.
This is a mirror, though, right? Was it in the mirror?
It
No,
wasn't in
that
the
wasn't. That
mirror.
was in the normal. I separated all of you guys slightly for a moment.
Yeah.
Sent you guys all different places for a moment.
It was after we had come back from the mirror because
Right.
It
Right.
could have
And that
been.
was
It
the
could have been
one with
this.
the puzzle on the
Yeah.
wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did the you had the puzzle.
Mhm.
She had to deal with a shadow or undead or something.
Yeah, it was like some kind of undead.
It would have had to been this because it's the only thing that matches the prescription or the not prescription, the description.
Yeah.
Because it definitely wasn't the Amber Temple.
No.
I don't think it was the ruins of Bariz. Let me check the ruins of Bariz quick.
Okay.
This place would like No, it is not the ruins of Bariz.
Okay.
Because that's where Baby Yaga is.
Ah.
Yeah, that's where her and her floating skull is. It's not leaky, it's not
floating
broken.
skull or just a regular floating skull?
No, like the giant like floating skull. She was like a giant car. She was hovering around. You guys shot out of the sky.
Yeah.
That went way too fast. I was hoping to have more fun with that. No, this is most likely probably it. So you do have some recollection of it.
Okay.
So you do have an idea on the map where it is.
Okay.
So Arcanist is
Okay.
cube.
south, southeast of where we would be.
Looking for Q on the map. You probably found it quicker than I did. Because you guys are in Krusk. Oh yeah, no, yeah, southeast.
Yeah.
Duh, it's right on the
So
map.
it's between us and Vallaki.
So
Okay. All right. Okay. Then once I've got an idea of that, I would like to use another scrying spell.
okay.
And I want to scry. Do I want to scry Relena or Nick?
Why not both?
Because it's a spell slot for each one.
I know. I know.
I'll try to scry Relena. I have
Okay.
met her. I don't have anything of hers unless Kaeviir had something that he gave me.
Yeah, I'm assuming I have something of my daughter's. Probably my brown coat.
Okay. So I have met her, although I wouldn't say I'm familiar with her.
I have a question. How long do you have to have a thing before it's no longer belonging to the owner that you originally got it from? Like if I
That
took
is a
Rachel,
very good question.
if I took Rachel's hairbrush and I just used it every day for 20 years, is it mine now?
Yes, it's yours.
Where's the cut point?
I guess when you would, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, technically,
did she
like,
bequeath ownership onto you, or
yeah,
you just
if she
if I just
bequeaths
started
it,
using it.
just if he stole it, like,
The question is though, if I purchase it, it's mine, right? So magic obeys the laws of capitalism?
I guess
Well,
if
it's
she
like-
would, technically she would
If
claim
ownership
ownership
is
of it,
9/10
but
of the law, then if I stole it from her, then I technically have the majority of the magic on my side.
how about this? If she still claims ownership of it, but you do because you stole it, then possibly it could be both.
Yeah.
You can use it to describe both you motherfuckers.
Well, it's like the idea of
But you still can't see why kids love Captain Crunch or
like,
Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Well, I don't know why they like Captain Crunch either. Just fucking kids.
like if you cast
Stupid kids.
like a resurrection spell, it's like you have to have a diamond worth 500 gold.
But who
then it's
values
like,
it?
yeah, who values it at 500 gold? Does it depend on what region
Oh.
you're in?
What if it's priceless?
What type of
Dude.
currency you're using?
How much is the kiss worth? Because every kiss begins with K, and K sells diamonds.
I saw two DMs ordering over spell components. It was one of the two of the famous ones that do like the big streams.
Mhm.
One was like, "Yeah, I don't do spell components." The other one's like, "What the fuck's wrong with you?"
What the fuck's wrong with me? Spell components are the most fun killingest shit I've ever heard of in my life.
Yeah, I've never been a fan of them myself.
Why would you give people a certain number of spells that they're allowed to do a day? Then also make them in combat responsible for micromanaging an inventory that they can't possibly micromanage.
Right?
You know how shitty spells are when you like make them cost a fucking ruby worth 1,000 gold? Fuck off.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, seriously. It's like shit, bro.
And then
I've already sacrificed my HP and my strength for this class.
To cost this every time. And a fucking feather from a peacock? Fuck you.
Just walking around with a bag full of just loose, jumbled shit like teeth and rocks and like that guy's leg. And it was like,
it's a frustrating thing. It's just I get the thematic nature of it, but I think that we should just assume that as the trait of just like we don't ask if a fucking warrior is oiling their armor, we just assume that it goes with being called a fighter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That should be how spell components work. If something says like there are somatic components to it and you can't speak, then you or whatever. Like if you can't speak and you need vocal components, then you can't cast it. That's fair.
No, that's fair, yeah, but making you like
if they take all of your gear, everything, you're naked in the desert, then you probably can't cast it. That seems fair. But I don't think you should have to go out and buy fucking gin. Just assume that goes
No.
according to plan.
Yeah, dude, I'm not gonna remember. I need 4 iron newts and a phoenix feather to fucking.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just silly and just it kills
Okay.
the fun. It's a boner killer.
All right.
All right.
I am going to scry Relena. She has to make a wisdom save, and she has to subtract 4 from her roll, DC 18.
Okay. 13. Yep, that ain't gonna make it. Okay. The scrying orb appears.
I hope there's
A
only
whole-
one Relena.
A hallway lit with oil lamps, and a young man walks with a tray of drinks, or a pitcher of liquid on the tray, and enters a room with 6 others in it. There's a halfling with long hair, dressed well, playing a melancholy tune in the corner on a flute. The lad begins to serve and pour into the drinks at the table. You don't actually see Relena at all. The orb seems to be following the lad.
Okay.
5 of them are at the table. The first one, an older man with a full mustache, a bald head, with an anxious finger tap on the table. You notice that all these men are wearing the black cloaks with the purple eye on them. Numbers marked on their necks.
Can I get the numbers?
Sure. 19.
Okay.
Dees, if I do anything weird on this.
I'm judging you
I
so
know.
fucking hard right now. Go
I
ahead.
know. 19,
Okay.
43, 51, 27, 60.
Okay.
Bingo.
All
Okay.
right. Okay. The 27, you're getting a little close, but okay, yeah.
Yeah. There was a 19 in there, but
Yeah.
Okay.
Use those
the
for
second
rubbing
one
almonds.
is a thinner man with white blonde hair talking, a scar down his cheek through his lip. The third one is a middle-aged woman, brown hair, and a short cut, quietly chewing on her
Own foot.
food.
Her butt.
The fourth one is a larger man in a cloak, barely touching his food, waiting impatiently on the refill in his glass. And the fifth one is a small man sweating, dabbing his forehead and neck to keep them dry. The man speaking stops. Lad, or fuck, hold on, give me a second to get this accent. He hands him the cup. Drink first. You know the rules. The lad looks at the cup and takes the drink, and then the man talking, number 2, the thinner man, the blonde hair, takes the cup and begins to drink from it. The others do as well.
Say number 2.
Then it,
You say number 2?
no, the
The
others
second
do
one
as
he
well.
listed.
Oh,
The
okay.
second
okay.
person I listed, yeah, sorry.
Okay. I was gonna say, holy shit.
Okay. Then it's decided. We will take over the site. It's obvious he's lost his way. His goals are no longer in line with the site. He wields this item that defines the natural order of the world as we know it, and he brought us here to what, I ask you? But his madness is overtaking him. We will not be second to these outsiders he keeps recruiting. The elf and the bard, and then he brings a boy in, and the boy leaves, and he doesn't punish him? No, we are not doing this any longer.
Can I play Evil Kaeviir?
At this point,
I just want to say, like, before any more is revealed, I immediately think that, like, the nervous, sweaty guy is evil Kaeviir in disguise.
Yeah.
so as the flute player begins to like pull his collar, and he stops playing, and his skin begins to boil, and the boil begins to blood, and he collapses, and then one by one, the first one, the bald man with the full mustache, boils begin to pop on his skin. His throat begins blistering, blood comes out, he collapses over. This one talking with the blonde hair begins foaming at the mouth, and more of the blisters begin to boil and collapses over the table. The third one, the woman, brown hair, begins to cough up, and the blood and the just pus begin popping from her mouth as she begins to collapse over. And the fifth one, the small man sweating, that's dabbing, as he's wiping, the skin begins to come off, and more boils begin to forge as his eyes kind of roll back, just blood trickling as he falls as well. The fourth one's sitting there, the largest one that, and then the lad speaks up. You don't like the chicken? What? We've been compromised. Compromise is an understatement. She removes the wig, drops off the server jacket, loosens the wrap under the shirt. She begins to wipe the makeup from her face, and you see Relina's features begin to come out from underneath the disguise of the lad. The older man, Relina, Oleander, eat the chicken or face my father's cookbook. Why betray us? You were us. She begins to walk and leave. He reaches for his blade weapon in the sheath, and as he pulls it, gas releases from the sheath, and his skin begins to blister and boil, and he begins to gag as well, and his hand begins to melt. And he looks in horror. Relina stops, calling herself the sight. Y'all are damn blind. I told you I'd destroy everything my father built. She leaves the rest of her disguise on the floor, begins to shift herself again, and moves her hair to a different angle, and brings out another cloak from a bag stashed underneath the seat, and begins to walk out again.
As the Scry is following her, can I tell anything about this location? Are there any windows or like tapestries with heraldry on them or anything like that?
Yes. As she slips out of this room, you gain more and more remembrance of the Nope House. The Ashington Manor.
Really well. Rachel knows that place very well.
Yes.
She spent many nights
with Mir Kaeviir.
Long dinners. And though maybe her gaze was drawn to the piercing golden eyes.
Oh my God.
Sorry, green eyes of the former master of the Nope House. Sometimes when she'd blush, she'd look away.
No.
Catch a glimpse of the furniture or surrounding series of shelves decorated with ointments and sexual pleasure devices.
No.
Holy fuck.
That was a framed ball gag from my first murder. I mean, love interest.
Oh shit.
I'm sorry. I just like playing this game.
She walks.
She had dinner with him one time, and I've literally never let her forget it.
Nobody else would stay in the fucking house.
Can't remember a fucking spider remembers that dinner perfect.
She walks out in the foyer, and she begins tipping over bottles of liquor around the place, spilling them out. She pulls out from her coat this kind of plastic putty and begins lining it on the door, the front door, moving it every so many feet along the walls of the interior, and begins running what it seems like a small cable between them.
Bitch setting up plastic explosive.
Oh, man, I hope this wasn't your Mirrorverse airship.
If
She
this
pulls
If this ever got made into a show, I swear to God, I want that Biggie song. C4 to the door, no beef, no more.
As she begins walking, she pulls out a small hand crossbow, lights the tip of it, and looks back. Get fucked, father.
You got 7 Mac 11s, about 8 48s, 9 9s, 10 Mac 10s. The shits never end.
The door goes, the walls go, hits the floor with all the alcohol has been poured. The light begins to, you can see the fire dance across the floor as it begins to burn.
All right.
She pulls out a small stone, holds it. It's done, Victor. That's the end of the sight. Just my father left. Slips it back in her pocket and continues to walk into the fog as the little sight follows her down the road. Eventually she gets to a horse and begins to take the horse through and begins to head northeast.
Okay. Since I know where the Nope house is, if she's heading northeast, where do I think she might be heading towards?
Possibly where you believe Victor is at.
Okay.
Or northwest, my apologies.
Northwest.
Yeah.
Okay. Is she sticking to a road or is she going off into the woods?
She seems to be keeping the road in eyesight, but darting through the trees.
Okay. How fast is she going? Is she like going all out or is it like just sort of a regular kind of pace? Like, does it seem like she's in like a
No, yeah.
serious hurry?
Yeah, she's in a full sprint.
Okay.
Or not a sprint, but a full gallop.
Okay.
As safely as she can through the side trail.
Yeah.
But she's definitely not keeping quiet right now.
Okay. All right.
You got that Naruto run through the trees.
Well, that would be probably like a half an hour of doing those two
They would have
scries.
come in about the middle of your second scry.
Okay.
When the abbot would have noticed you were scrying, he would have let them in and just left back the other way.
Okay.
Not to disturb.
Then I will finish up my scry and describe to Rain and Kaeviir what I saw and where I think these locations are.
So I told Dewok I intentionally did not focus on the detail. I started catching myself like looking for details in the first description.
Mhm.
And I was asking questions and I was like, I shouldn't do that. So you need to describe to me what you saw in that first vision.
Okay.
And then we'll go over that and then you have to describe to me what we saw in the second.
Okay. So my first scry, I looked for Victor with one arm.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if Rain like notices that she makes that distinction, but she says Victor with one arm.
Victor with the good hand.
Victor with the good.
Victor with the blue dress. No.
There was a basement and a big bucket filled with blood. Victor did some kind of blood magic and said some different words. I didn't really understand a lot of them. There were words like I can't read my
I
handwriting.
used Latin for Darkanese.
Yeah.
I hope to God Google did not butcher that translation.
Yeah.
It does every time. But if the part I did here, it was something about giving life to corpse from the spirit or soul.
Yeah, I know. I can read you the English if you want.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, no, she wouldn't. Would you be able to regurgitate a language you had heard for the first time?
No.
No. So
Okay.
then never mind.
Okay.
Uh,
I'll read it after.
I think Adrie would have caught like a few of the words that got repeated. And then there was one like I definitely recognized, but I don't know if Adrie would have
A name.
recognized it. Yes.
You're talking about the Mordenkainen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if because Adrie uses divine magic, so she doesn't use like arcane magic.
Everybody
And
knows who that is.
He's as infamous in Greyhawk's Elementor is in Faerun, and he
Okay.
does travel realms.
Okay.
People
Yeah,
know.
no.
People know that. Like most wizards and stuff like that have.
He was one of Gary Gygax's actual characters.
Okay. So then Adrie would have recognized the name Mordenkainen. Okay.
Mhm.
So
And Melf and Tensor and
Yeah, Bigsby, one of his
Bigsby,
apprentices.
the hand. Yeah.
So she'll say, I didn't really understand what he was saying. I recognize the name Mordenkainen, but I don't know what it was in reference to. And then a man stood up out of the blood. He looked human, kind of thin, bald. He mentioned that he didn't have his beard anymore.
Can I run an intelligence check or an investigation check?
Go for it.
I want to understand. Okay, so I'm familiar with different fabrications of the clone spell and things of similar like since we studied that type of thing. Can I roll the investigation to determine, or maybe I guess investigation. Is that okay? To go over the details? What check should I run if I want to know what kind of spell this was?
Arcana.
Fuck, I knew you were gonna say that. All right, we're gonna roll it.
Or you can roll straight intelligence. I'll give you to go through your memory of the vast books you've read.
Which one?
Intelligence.
It's the same thing. Okay, so I'm going to then lucky this. Thank God. Okay, so 22. The last one was going to be a 19. It was going to land on a 19, and it hit that stupid corner of the fucking screen and tilted. 22.
Okay.
21%.
Okay. It's not a clone spell. It's not. He wasn't making a copy. It sounds like he actually bonded spirit to flesh. From what you're picking up, and with blood magic, and Adrie did hear him say, Mordecai, or heard what she assumes is Mordecai say, "Birth by blood."
Yes.
So you would be more led to believe through the books that you've had from Strahd on blood magic that Victor found a way to somehow do not a revive, but a resurrection using blood magic.
On who?
Whoever it was, he seemed very knowledgeable about magic.
Said he missed his beard.
He missed his beard.
He said Mordenkainen.
Victor said Mordenkainen. Then Victor passed out, and the man took him upstairs. Victor had a black coat, like a sight coat. And he took Victor upstairs. I think he was at the Silver Dragon place that I was taken to one time. And
where was that?
It's sort of on the way to Valiki from here.
I'm just gonna look over random like Valiki told you.
There are revenants in there.
Revenants.
Mm-hmm. And they called Victor the necromancer, and then the man argued with them and said that Victor wasn't using necromancy, he was using blood magic. He seemed very
aware.
I'm gonna look at Kaeviir and be like, he seemed very confident in his knowledge.
D-Walk,
Hmm?
What do I know of the history of Morning Canaan?
You know, he has traveled worlds. It is said that he has a friendship with Elminster and Faerun, as well as his land. There was rumors that he ended up possibly trapped in Barovia back.
He have a beard?
He did. In
Interesting.
fact, you've seen paintings of him in books.
There's a big glare over it.
Oh, better?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Now
Yeah.
I recognize them right away. Okay. What is the likelihood that
There is one thing you know that he knows a lot of is the different planes,
Mhm.
and he has studied fiends and celestials alike.
The Revenants were under control of Victor?
They seem to be, or
they seemed like they were there before Victor, right?
but they seem to know Victor and not like they didn't take Victor afoul. They didn't. When he asked, when in Adrie, when she saw when the man in blood asked if they were with Victor, they both nodded yes.
And that was also the two that we saw before at the other place. They were in the room when the future version blew up that.
No, different revenants.
Okay. No, I'm just saying that there were revenants there too that also didn't react to him.
At Castle Avernus, those revenants, or that revenant in particular, was the one that was chasing Kestrel.
Okay.
It was not also that one was not dressed up in Silver Dragon Paladin armors.
Yeah, they looked like paladins, but undead paladins.
Okay. I was just curious.
And then
I'm just trying to draw linkages.
Then he said he was going to summon his mansion, and then he made a house. And my scry couldn't follow Victor into it. But he seemed like he was going to make sure that Victor survived whatever he went through to summon him or bring him.
Does the history speak of any way to contact a great wizard? Is there any way that I could make contact with someone of a high standing, like a wizard of high standing or something like that?
Oh, do you mean like the etiquette of how to...
Yeah, what's the proper way to not just blow someone's cell? I don't want to slide into his DMs. I just want to like fucking proffer the appropriate gesture to get his attention.
Archmage would probably be the title you would start with.
Just write him a letter, or what do I just shout it to the sky? Is there a procedure?
How do I put? In Barovia, that would draw an unwanted attention. Skywriting his name.
Maybe just put a giant candle up on a tree.
I mean, she could message and see what happens.
Boy,
I could.
Crazy.
I could
send him a message and say, Archmage, and looking for my friend.
Hey, do you have my friend? Hey, I was spying on you earlier. Do you have my friend?
You have to give him a message that is something that is prestigious. The professional. Hi, this is the professional's assistant, and I would like to set a meeting.
I'm not introducing myself as your assistant.
8 o'clock.
Hi, this is Adrie calling for the professional.
Hi, the professional has begged me to contact you.
You have the opportunity right now to get on the ground floor of a leveling procedure that's going to blow your mind. All you have to do is get 3 other professionals under you. Each of them will get 3 professionals under them, and the kick-ups will start. And look, you'll be driving your fucking BMW down Easy Street the wrong way, and you'll pay the cops off because that's how we get down. And I think the first things first. Well, tell me the other part, the other Scry.
So I decided to scry Relena.
Nobody ever scries Nick.
Well, I assume he's okay because there's plants.
Fuck that dude. Fucking creepy mushroom prick.
I even wrote him a scene too.
I assume like between the 2 of them,
one of them is interesting and the other one is Nick.
No.
Yeah.
That's so mean.
No, that's
It's
not
bad
what
enough he has to share a
not...
rhyme scheme with a more popular character.
So my scry followed what looked like a young man bringing some drinks into a room where there were several people in black coats and they had numbers tattooed on their necks. 19, 43, 51, 27, and 60. And they told the boy that brought drinks to drink first, and he did. And then they said that they had decided they were going to take over the site because the leader has gone crazy and has brought some sort of unnatural item in use and has brought in outsiders. I think they said an elf, a bard, and a boy. And then they all started coughing up blood and died very horrifically. And then the boy,
how did they die?
They were like coughing up blood and their skin was sort of swelling and forming boils and kind of peeling off, and they were foaming at the mouths.
Can I do a check?
Mm-hmm.
Medicine?
Sure. Medicine work.
Lucky? Oh my god, thank God. 22. Jesus fuck. These 17s are gonna save my life.
You have found extremely similar poisons in the books you got from Kaeviir's study when you raided it here. Oh no, I'm sorry. When you raided it in the other Barovia and you raided the Wizard of Wines before you guys burned it down and you stole his books.
Okay.
So you have found similar poisons in there. It is a site style attack.
Right.
Normally, though, it consists of a two-part poison where one's in the food, the other's in the drink, and the 2 of them together activate as a catalyst.
Right. So that way, if anyone asks you to test it, then you can test it. Yeah. Okay.
And then Relena took off her disguise and said she was going to destroy everything that her father built. As she left, she threw a bunch of, I think, oil along the hallways and some kind of... Adrie wouldn't know plastic explosives.
They're called door breakers in the Ravenloft world.
She'll describe it as best she can.
Right. Wall goop.
And it was the Nope House. It was Ashington Manor. After she set it on fire, she contacted Victor and said that was the end of the site and it was just her father left. And then she got on her horse. I think she was going to the Silver Dragon Temple.
Okay. Well, that's a lot to take in. We don't have a ship. Captain, what's the best way to get a good distance?
Without having the luxury of flight, it's probably going to be a horse and carriage at this point.
I'm gonna look at Adrian and say no. No.
It's so fast. And I've got this helmet, so I'll just wear that and nobody will know who I am.
Right. Because nobody's familiar with that helmet. That's the helmet I saw before my whole family was murdered. And then they stole my Aunt Tina's leg.
I don't think there's I don't think travel by river or water is going to be very easy here. So boats are
Especially
probably out
not
of the
since
question.
we're going to Veliki, right?
Yeah. So I mean, if we're trying to cross land, a horse and carriage is our best bet, I think.
Okay. Sorry. Maybe I can impose on our host one last time.
Maybe.
I'll be right back.
Okay.
Did I see what direction the Deva went when he left?
Towards the foyer.
I'm going to head there.
Okay.
By the way, a person just sent me this thing. They were like, from the art yesterday, they're like, where were the beige sections? And I'm like, I didn't use them except for light metal bits, and I then used the purple gradient, which is one of the palette colors over it. He's like, I feel cheated. I wanted less cool and more lame. I want my points back. I'm like, you didn't spend any points.
What?
Like, you didn't spend any points.
This is like an opportune time to use the phrase "eat my butt." Fine, take your free fake internet points back.
Actually, we do owe Squishy 10,000 because he bought 2 colors, but we only used one of them.
Okay.
Sorry.
The bright side is it's only like about a 4-hour walk to the Silver Dragon Temple on the way to Veliki.
That's easy. How far till Veliki?
If that's 4 hours, wait, fun. Veliki would be another 2 off of that if you went there. If you go to Veliki, it'd be 5 to Veliki if you went there straight. But if you detoured to the Silver Dragon Mansion, then it'd be 4 there and then 2 up to Veliki.
And what time is it now, roughly? Ideally, we wouldn't travel at
9-ish, 10-ish.
AM? Nighttime.
AM.
Okay.
Because you guys left in the morning. You guys purposely wanted to go through when you guys had a idea of still being not night.
I'm gonna see if they can give us a cart anyway.
Okay.
Can you ask if I could get a cloak with the hood?
Yeah, I'll also ask for the Ferrari. We can just borrow that for the weekend. The beach
I don't know
house.
what that is.
What is the condition of Veliki? The description that they gave said it was destroyed, but how destroyed? Like thoroughly? Like a crater in the earth? Or like just the houses are run down?
The Sheriff Barovia took the army through and slaughtered who he did, broke through the doors, smashed places. Not like it's not like somebody like straight up meteor a place, but
did they burn it to the ground?
No. Okay. Some places were burned, but not all.
All right. Well, I think that should be a good fallback point for us, but I think maybe the first thing is to just try to get on top of the location where we know Victor might be. Or where at least we know a point of contact is.
You want me to message the man?
I would like that, but we'll do that, I guess, once we get the cart. You can sit in the back and do that while well, Captain, wagon's sort of like a ship.
I suppose, and that they both take you from point A to point B, but okay, sure. If you want me to drive, I can do that.
Do you still have your hat? I only like people to ride
I'm
to drive the
pretty
ship
sure
when they
I
have the
haven't
hat.
taken it off. So yeah,
Just curious.
yeah. Yes, I
Captains, when they're guiding my vessel,
must
have
wear
to
a
wear
hat.
a hat.
We
That's
have
the
to wear the
rule.
approved company uniform with flair, is what I'm hearing.
I need 14 pieces.
No,
Look, if you want to do the bare minimum rain, then I'm not going to get mad at you, but I think you should want more.
I know.
I mean,
Yes.
look at Adrie, right?
Yeah, you're right.
Adrie's
She
putting
has
on a helmet
52
with
put it on a
ruby
helmet, yeah.
eyes.
52 pieces of fucking Bahamut flair. All right, I'm going to try to find the Deva. I'm gonna
You
by
follow
the
his
way,
heart playing.
in disguise, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
You find he's out in the courtyard. You find him.
I suppose you recognize me. Eh?
I saw you put on the disguise.
Was a joke, Sonny. We
Ah,
could use a wagon.
we have one.
We could use some things to pull that wagon too. You understand?
Mules or
Travel on
horses?
these weak knees.
And I'm gonna like kind of slap my knees a little bit.
Would you prefer mules or horses?
Meals?
Donkeys.
Oh, mules.
Mules.
Okay. Horses, please. More meat.
Leans over. Cloven, please stop with the crops and please fetch the wagon from the barn with 2 horses to pull our fronts, please. Yes, Abbott. Anything you say, Abbott. And he gently sets the rake and he runs off.
Thank you. Oh, I'd also like to give you something. And I'm going to reach into my coat. I'm going to pull out a key. Here.
Holds the key. Thank you.
You'll know what it's for when the time is right.
He nods and
It's for the lady that we chained up. we put the sheet back over. They don't even know she's chained up. We never said it.
Oh man.
So one day
Oh.
they're gonna be like, "What happened?" And we're like, "This key will unlock our." And yeah, there it is.
Oh Lord.
So you got to give
He's a-
people micro tasks. These are the legends that we leave for our forebears or aft bears, I guess. Some kind of bears are gonna like this story, is what I'm saying. It's like Goldilocks. All right, I'm gonna walk back in.
Time to go. Got the wagon. Take the bowl.
Okay.
All right.
Now you ever pilot one of these horses? I think they're called.
I just kind of look over to Adrie. Is he gonna be like this the whole time? or
Probably, yeah.
just-
I could always be a cleric if you prefer.
No,
Hmm.
that's blasphemous.
Are you sure?
Yes.
He could take your confessional if you'd like.
No, that's blasphemous. Because you're not actually a priest.
I've been a priest before.
You're not a priest now.
Well, I'm a lover. I'm a sinner. I'm a midnight toker.
None of those things are priests.
Okie doke. Well, I guess we're just gonna go ahead and hop in this wagon. Rain,
Bef-
you think you? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. I'm already in the driver's seat.
just think of a cart as a boat of the land.
A boat with legs that smells even worse somehow.
Before we leave, Adrie wants to see the abbot.
Okay.
She's going to say thank you for all of your help. However, I think you should really pray and consider what you're doing right now.
You can hear the old man in the background.
And decide if this is really a good act.
He nods. I will pray on it to the morning, Lord.
All right. Thank you again.
Good luck.
Thank you. We'll probably be back at some point. Because this is how we leave.
We're gonna have to use that mirror again. Sorry.
Yeah. All right, and then we'll get into the cart.
Everybody on board?
Yep. All right, so wagon. We're gonna fast travel, press A.
Yeah.
Yeah. And hope that we
All
don't die of dysentery on the way.
We're gonna have to fjord this river. Actually, I can turn this off now, right? Jesus. I'm gonna like in the back of the wagon be wiping my face down.
Gotta wipe the old off, huh?
Yeah. I got a prosthetic.
So, yeah, the wagon's traveling. The fog's cleaning. The sky's dark. But it's morning. So, a slight misty rain as you guys travel through.
Is it overcast here, like our original Barovia was?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Heavily. The sun just doesn't seem like it can actually break through. They don't have Chanticleer.
Murder road, take me home to the place where my grave belongs. Sweet Barovia, morning mama, take me home. I kill the goat. Thanks for listening to Freelance Heroism. We really appreciate you coming in and listening. We also really appreciate all the people who support our Patreon. By supporting the Patreon, you're going to get behind the scene, uncut clips that you'll get to see sort of like maybe the tissue behind some of the edited, cleaned up content. And you'll get that whenever we have a big block of it to drop, as well as any updates or any information behind the scenes stuff that we think the Patreons would like to know. So if you'd like to support our Patreon and help us continue making the high quality, high octane podcast that you've come to expect, go ahead to patreon.com/freelance_heroism. Thank you. And as usual, the invoice is in the mail.
Are we at a point where we could take a quick break for a second?
Yeah.
Okay, because I need to go to the restroom. I'll be right
All right.
All right.
I'll
I'll be right
pound
back.
this 5-hour Barvar. When she does the listen like through the sensor, I try my best to like focus on something else.
I know.
I have I literally am like forcing myself to read the back of bottle of 5-hour and like I need to focus on something else because otherwise I'll be like asking questions, and I notice I do that a lot, so I'm trying to not do that. I'm not seeing it. She'll have to relay the information to me.
I got a feeling if you would have listened, you would have picked it up fast.
No, I noticed that I do that kind of thing. Like the last time I was like listening very close and like trying to put stuff. I would not have gotten all the details from a person that saw something one time and had to relay them back.
Yeah.
So I think it's probably better for me in the future to not listen directly to someone else's scrying sensor.